Hey there, Luke here. In this video we're going to be going through doing a pop 180, so on a twin tip, going from heel side and then popping around onto toe side. So it's just a simple little trick that is pretty fun, and in this video I just want to maybe cover a little bit more technique so that you can sort of attack the pop 180 at higher speeds and with more control, and so more confidence, so that you really you know, when you're launching off any sort of wave or flat water or anything, you really know that you're going to be coming down facing the right way with the right speed. So first of all, you can actually practice this technique standing on the beach, and the reason being is there are a couple of little steps that we do in order to land the pop 180 perfectly every time. So what we're going to do is basically, if you can imagine, I'm heading along this direction. This is my comfortable riding stance. I'm on my heels and I've got the kite sort of about halfway in between 12 o'clock and the ground. And the first step is to actually drop your front shoulder and open up your chest. And then all we do is you look for a little ramp, or you load up with your legs, and basically you pop up and then switch stance. So it's all in your hips. So the preparation is to actually drop your front shoulder. And what that does is mean most of the rotation is done for you, and then you can load up or find a little launch ramp and then pop up and switch your feet. Now what's really nice about that is it doesn't rely on you carving the board upwind really hard or like throwing yourself into a rotation. You can basically go into any ramp at any speed and still just go straight up, pivot your hips and land and ride out of it. So we're going to do a couple of examples now, and let's get on the water. So I thought it'd be easier to actually talk over some of the footage that we recorded and just go through some of the points. So you can see this is just a really like a simple small pop 180, and just like I talked about on the beach, there's just a couple of little things that you can do just to set it up and just really make it really smooth. So let's just sort of go through some of those quick points. So the first thing is, you can see, drop the arm. So you drop your arm and open up your chest. This completes a lot of that rotation. Then you spot a bit of a takeoff. You can see the little sort of ramp, the little bit of swell coming in there, right in front of me there. And then get low, so load up off your legs. Now once you load up, you want to pop up, and you do that by applying most of the weight to your back foot and really popping straight up. You get in the air, and then you can see my chest is pretty much staying straight, and you're just rotating your hips and rotating the legs around to get the board over to toe side. And then as we're landing here, you can see I've put the tail in first. As you get higher with your jumps, it's sometimes nice to sort of land with that tail first. It softens that landing a little bit. Otherwise you can get a bit of a slap when you start getting higher. It's good to put that tail in first. So if we just look at that again the whole way through, you can see basically, if we talk about kite positioning right now, you can see how I'm holding the kite in one spot, and it's around about halfway in between the water and 12 o'clock. And the thing about this pop 180 is you don't need to move the kite, you don't need to throw it up to 12 o'clock, you don't need to sheet in with the bar or sheet out with the bar. All of that basically just stays exactly the same, and you just park the kite at about that angle, and as long as you've got moderate speed in order to pop you out of the water. Because if you do this too slowly, you're not going to get the pop and the height in order to really complete that rotation, and it makes it a little bit harder. So if we just quickly recap those points, got the kite in the position that you can see here on the screen, about halfway in between 12 and the water, moderate speed coming into it, open the chest, look for the ramp, load up, pop, pivot your legs and land toe side. So that's the pop 180 from heel side to toe side, but I will just go through a couple of other shots that we took today, and we'll just talk about a couple of other things. So this is basically just a slide. you're staying on the water, and it's just a good way to practice because basically it just gets you in the rhythm. You can see most of it's the same. Chest is open, you edge up, and then you can see you edge harder and harder upwind until you start to slide, and then you transfer your weight across onto your toes and then ride off in the same direction. And so if you haven't ever attempted this is a good way to practice, because the same transition or the same change in weight needs to occur whether you're on the water like this or in the air. We have to get from our heel side to our toe side. So this is a good way to practice before you go popping up into the air if you're trying this from scratch. And then so next is really using your rail to start the rotation. So you can see that this is a bit different to what I described on the beach, where you're really edging hard and starting the rotation with that rail. Now, what makes this easy is you can do it really slow, because this rotation that you're throwing comes from your rail initially, and you can see really carving up hard there. But the problem with this is that if you jump higher than anticipated or lower, you can over rotate or under rotate. But I just wanted to include this because this is still, if you're going slowly and when you're learning, it's good sometimes just to try things a little bit slower. Then you can add that little bit of extra rail into it to really complete that 180. So now going back to the original technique, you can see this just from a different angle and doing the same thing here. So arm drops, open up the chest, spotting the takeoff, getting low, loading up, popping straight up. You can see the chest is open there, rotate with the hips and the legs, and then land toe side and ride away. And as you can see, this just, compared to the last video, it's a bit of a cleaner jump, and you can definitely take on bigger jumps with more speed, just using that little bit of extra technique, dropping the arm, loading up, launching off, and pivoting. So look, that's about it for Pop 180. It's a really simple move. You're going to find it really easy, and hopefully in this video there was just a couple of helpful tips just to help you progress a little bit faster. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.